Right, going to show you Hasura Console. Hasura Console's main part that also non-developers, for example website admin or customer, can use is here in data. Basically here in the data you have all the tables with all kind of content that you have in the database. I'm gonna take as an example contents, for example website contents. We can see here there are different pages as we deal with development. There is, like, for example, PHP, and it has a row called parent ID, so it's structured like that, so that if I take, for example, number 5, that is the ID of this PHP, and then do the filter and put parent ID equals 5, which is PHP, and run this, then I can see all the items that are below the PHP. All kind of PHP frameworks like coding, Yi, Laravel, Kohana. These are all PHP frameworks, so their parent ID is 5, and so we can see all of them. I can also search by like and write here PHP text and search the menu title. I can find it like that. I can see content by parent ID. Click here view. I can see that PHP belongs under parent ID 898, and ID 898 is programming languages, so the PHP is a programming language. It belongs under programming languages. And from here I can edit. I can write here new content, but I don't have here rich text editor or calendar pickups. If I need rich text editor, I need to create a bit more complex UI to manage this content of the database. In that case, I would build some kind of front end, some kind of rich text editor, and then I would, as a developer, I would click here GraphQL and manipulate the database content with GraphQL API. So let's take an example how to build the GraphQL query here too. Let's take another table, for example users. We can so the query users, we can name it whatever. Let's take Tartu users. Tartu users. The name of the query can be whatever. It can be just test, and we can always have it like that. Doesn't matter. The question is that we're going to queue users. Now, where is the condition? We want users. We have the field city here equals Tartu. We're getting all the users who are in Tartu. Now, what information we want is the second thing. Let's take, for example, when they were created. Let's take their email, and let's take their name. So we're getting the information created at, email and name of all the users who are in Tartu. If we run this, we can verify that here we're getting all the users in Tartu. And we have here also Code Explorer in the right hand side, and we can get the code for JavaScript and TypeScript and async await. Code will look like here, just copy paste it and get all the Tartu users. You have more options here. You can the good thing about GraphQL is you don't need to run multiple queries. You can also get all the relational information. You don't need to have equal, you can have bigger, smaller, like, all kind of different queries. You can order the queries by different whatever you want. At the moment we had here created at, for example. We could have the created at order descending. Now we have the users in different order. So it's a pretty powerful tool. Now another good thing with Hasura is that whatever event happens, then we can trigger a webhook and whatever URL, and on that URL we could have whatever JavaScript, PHP, whatever programming language code that does something. We have here an example of new user. We have here trigger operation in case of insert. So whenever there's inserted a new row into users table, then this event happens. And this event is a webhook URL. At this case, you can see it's not a URL, it's from environment variable. And in environment variable I have defined the URL, but you could put here straight in a URL. Let's take an example. When new user signs up from your website, insert happens. Or we could tick also via console. If manually from here in the data new user is inserted, then this could trigger as well. At this case we have decided we need this trigger only happen when it happens via API in our website front end. And the webhook URL could be really whatever, a really simple PHP code sending email, for example. Or if you want to do it really quick and even don't want to write the code to send email, well, which could be a couple of hours of work if you want the email to not end up in a spam folder but really hit the user's account, then you could just maybe go to, for example, send grid and take their free plan. That will give you, the free plan will give you webhooks. So you sign up, you get the URL of the webhook, you define here in send grid where the email goes. If the webhook is triggered, to send off the email. But it could be whatever. You could want to send a notification to your team messenger if, for example, something is updated somewhere or something is deleted somewhere, or whatever events you can create. So basically, if you need to extend Hasura GraphQL, then you do it with events. There are way more options. It has a great cache and great speed. It's lightweight. It has many more great things to offer. but yeah, that's just a quick overview of Hasura. If we already spoke about emails, then actually, as usually we install Hasura in Amazon Web Services, then of course, if there's a bigger web app, I would suggest to use Amazon Simple Email Service, which is actually really cheap. Takes little time to set up like most of Amazon services, but prices are better than any other service providers. It's basically 10 US cents for 1000 emails you send. So yeah, and if you use other Amazon services, for example EC2, then it's zero cost for first 62,000 emails. But yeah, I mean, Hasura we sometimes install on Beanstalk, so 10 cents for 1000 emails is also not that much.